Now, do I have sound?
It says you're live.
Is there anyone that can pull this up on YouTube to see if we've got sound? Oh, you got it?
I think
It's,
I can see that you're getting sound here.
you just.
Thank you.
Now you get to look.
You put
I can build your house from the
$20.
ground up.
Just in the production notes, put your technology like that.
Exactly.
All right, I guess we can call this meeting to order. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Rob, I don't know if you care or not, but the microphone's usually up here.
Yeah.
If it needs to be
Try to
there.
move it up here.
Nope, you're good.
Yesterday,
Okay.
just speak
You're fine.
loudly,
Yeah.
because someone was watching saying, we couldn't hear anything.
Okay.
Well, I had to move it back there though too, because it turned off up here.
Okay.
So good.
Okay. All right, we have the meeting minutes from March 3rd. For approval, I see Katie got the adjustments made.
Changes on it.
Yeah, so,
With that, I make a motion, we approve the March 3rd, 2026 meeting minutes.
You have a copy of the, because I don't have it on here.
Yeah.
That's okay, I just
Yeah.
wanted to check.
YouTube live stream before.
I'll second that.
all right. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. Okay. All right, next we have any visitors who would like to address the council.
That would be me.
That would be you.
Good evening, council members, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to address you tonight. I'm Lindsay Hammond, and I'm the Northeast Community Liaison for the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs, also known as OCRA. OCRA works with Indiana communities to build relevant and economically thriving places where people want to live, work, and grow. Our mission is providing resources and technical assistance to aid communities in developing or shaping and achieving their vision for community and economic development. We are the state office that manages the Community Development Block Grants, or CDBG, for the state. These are federal funds that aim to support non-entitlement towns, cities, and counties with various initiatives. CDBG funding plays a crucial role in enhancing the quality of life in Indiana communities while ensuring the health and safety of their citizens or their residents. The Indiana Main Street program is also managed by OCRA. Main Street organizations leverage our 4-point approach, focusing on economic vitality, promotions, organization, and design, to achieve community transformation by revitalizing their downtown and encouraging economic growth and investment. I serve as your main point of contact with the state, and I look forward to partnering with you to serve your community, and I can take any questions that you have. That was just a quick snapshot. Our website is a wealth of information, and I think it's very user-friendly. There's information about Main Streets on there, and then the different grants that we offer.
What is that website?
It's okra.in.gov. We have planning grants and construction grants. We have 2 national objectives we work with because our money does come from HUD and it passes through the state, and our job is to get that out into our small rural communities across Indiana. So we have benefit to low to moderate income individuals, which is what we use the most. So we're looking for communities, we're looking for an LMI percent of 51% or higher, which is 80% or less of your AMI. So individuals that fall in that category. We also use the national objective of slum and blight clearance and prevention. So we're looking at blight clearance. So if you have a building you want to take down Those proceeds can be used for acquisition, demolition, and clearance. But the local unit of government is always the applicant, and they have to have ownership and site control of any buildings that we're gonna take down. We also have an owner-occupied rehabilitation program, which is the only residential housing program or residential program we have right now. Everything we do is bricks and mortar, no operations. But we have like public facilities grants, we have, which would be like libraries, fire stations, community centers. We have water projects, 70 to 80% of what we do is wastewater and drinking water. Then we have planning grants, so we have downtown revitalization plans. We have economic development plans, comprehensive plans, master utility studies, feasibility studies. And then we have, like I said, the owner-occupied rehabilitation, which is the only residential program. And that is $350,000 for grant max award for cities and towns and $500,000 for the county. And that could be up to $200,000 or $25,000 per owner-occupied home. And so there's verification they have to go through to prove that they actually own the home and are occupying the home. And then again, that's like an LMI clientele type of situation where we're not looking community-wide, we're just looking at 51% or more of the individuals benefiting from that program are in that low to moderate income category. Same thing with childcare facilities. That's a big thing right now because one of the biggest barriers to workforce development right now is the lack of childcare. So we have LMI clientele for childcare centers as well. And any questions? I'm so sorry. That's a lot of information.
No, it's great information. Thank you.
Welcome.
I was encouraged to reach out to Lindsay by Chris Stager from the Elkhart County Economic Development Commission. And we met for an hour, maybe an hour and a half, I don't remember exactly, but recently, within the last couple of weeks, no, 3 weeks. And it was ready for the first meeting. But anyway, I was overwhelmed. I mean, in that hour and a half, I felt like I was drinking from a fire hose. A lot of information, and I'm particularly interested about Main Street USA and how we might qualify for that and how that can help our downtown and the overall vibe of what we would like to see in Wakalusa. So just another example of an incredible resource that I want to get to know Lindsay a lot more on, and we'll down a lot more on the offerings, and then bring ideas and suggestions to council about how can we benefit with this time trip.
And if you did have a group, so our main streets are usually, they're independent, standalone 501c3s. And they're usually focused, we have, downtown business associations or beautification groups or any group that's already focused on the downtown, or if you want to form one, we have it's like a prerequisite training session on May 21st. It's in Elkhart, so it's really close for your folks up here. At the EDC, from 4 to 5:30, we're gonna have a training session for any communities that want to learn more. They can send a representative if they are thinking about possibly forming a main street or have a group that would want to evolve into a main street and become designated, and then they can apply in the fall. But they have to attend that meeting even if they're interested, or if they do get to the fall and haven't done that, they have to wait a year. So those are really beneficial because they're a 501c3, so we like to see them have philosophical and financial support from the local unit of government, but we also, we ask them to obviously diversify their revenue stream because they can't be 100% supported. A nonprofit cannot be 100% supported by taxpayer dollars. But that would open them up to being able to apply for different types of grants. I think that when I was here, Katie was trying to apply for a Main Street America grant. By being being a Main Street organization, you have more opportunities with those types of grants because you have that bigger umbrella that you're under. And then as you move up, we have the ODAN, which is the first level, which is the Okra Downtown Affiliate Network. And then we have our Indiana Accredited Main Street, which most states have. And then there's the National Accredited Main Street. And then we've actually, in Indiana, we've created a Aspiring, which is where they're an ODAN, but they want to become an IMES, and we give them, or an Indiana Accredited. And so we give them additional resources and training to get them to that point. But then once you reach Indiana Main Street and National, then it opens you up to some CDBG grants that we have available in addition to other grants with like Indiana Landmarks, and different Indiana Arts, our Landmarks, and organizations like that too, private and public organizations.
Just, to me, it just opened up a wealth of opportunity for grants, for assistance from this particular organization, which I believe leads to possible relationships with other things.
Well, and we're the only kind of state agency that has, I would say, field staff that's out building relationships with communities. So we have a lot of, like, we've met with the Indiana Department of Health, the Indiana Office of Energy Development. We're going to meet with FSSA, the DNR, and they have federal dollars as well that they are sharing those opportunities with us, so we can go out and share those with communities as well. If there isn't something that's eligible for Okra, we can share those other opportunities as well.
I am going to be at that meeting, yes. It's been on my calendar. She told me about it.
Are the Main Street all based on LMI?
No, the main streets are separate. So we have
Okay.
CDBG on one side and our main streets on the other. And typically, I don't know if every state has those under the same organization, but in Indiana, Okra oversees both of those.
Okay.
So the main streets, they do get to the point where they can be eligible for Main Street Revitalization Grant and Preserving, which is a facades grant. The Main Street Revitalization is like streetscapes, hardscapes, lighting, pocket parks, alley activation, things along those lines. But there are different grants with us, but when you get to that level, there's other grants that open up through other agencies and private organizations as well. But it's not based on LMI. It's just, hey, we have a group of community members that are taking an interest in our downtown. They're focused on revitalization. Our main streets are focused heavily on historic preservation as well. Telling your story, because every community has their own unique story. So it's telling your story. So a lot of them will have like, they have grants. I don't know who it was through. Was it Indiana Arts or Landmarks? There was a grant which a lot of them use. So they have posters. Like if you go into some of the towns, they have like posters of historical figures that are well known from that area. And then they have a QR code you can scan to learn more about them. They're doing walking tours, which are all grants that they've gotten. So when people come to their area, they can really learn more about their unique story.
At the last conference we were at, Fisher's Creative Arts Convergence conference, I believe it was, they were mentioning this particular facet of what they do. But yeah, it came up frequently.
Yeah. We have different networking opportunities as well, training opportunities, networking opportunities. So if you have a group that is typically like Butler, so Butler already has a main street, but they're not one of our main streets, but they're going to be a great candidate, so I'm trying to get them to apply this fall. They have their own group, they're already hosting, so they host events, so promotion, so they'll be like hosting community events, so they're driving foot traffic to your downtown businesses, they're working with business owners and property owners to make sure your buildings are in good condition, they're monitoring public and private investment in your downtown, they're looking at vacancy rates and finding out, our occupancy rates, and they're actively working to attract businesses to fill those storefronts. And they're community facing and community driven. So they're really working on behalf of the community to say, what do you want to see here? Do you want another restaurant? Do you want a boutique store? Do you want an ice cream shop?
Yes.
And they're working with the community to bring all of that to your downtown. And then of course, especially in light of the new SCA 1, attracting people is how you're going to grow your tax base going forward. So they really work hand in hand with the local unit of government to grow the tax base.
And again, could you confirm that date again?
May 21st, it's Thursday, May 21st,
4 to 5:30.
4 to
The
5:30.
EDC Educational Center.
Yep, we're going to be up in their
In
classroom.
their classroom. Which is okay. Yes, I have been planning on attending that. I'll probably put out invitations for anyone else who
I'll touch base with you because I'll be off. I can probably make that happen.
the information is just very, very helpful.
Right. Yeah, cool.
I have business cards for each one of you.
Lindsay, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just going to give these to Rob so I don't have to walk in front of the
Yeah.
camera. You have two members that aren't here tonight?
Yeah.
We do.
I'll make sure he has a card, and so you'll have my contact information. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any
Okay.
questions about anything. I know it's a lot of information. I've been in this role a little over a year, and it's been a lot to learn. But like I said, our website, I think is amazing. It's very user-friendly. It's broken down. If you go to the first page, anything for Main Street is under strategic initiatives. And then we have community development block grants. So those are the main two. And then we have, I think it's like a housing tab and then community liaison. So everything that you'll want to look at mainly is in those first two tabs. So,
It's great information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
yeah, and if it's any interest, we are relaunching this summer our Stellar program, which is actually where we bring all of our partners to the table. So we have like INDOT, we have Indiana Arts, we have IHCBA, we have DNR, and we have communities that will put in applications. It's like a 1-year process where we'll have like some workshops and help communities with planning, and then you submit an application, and then you have all those partners coming to the table and doing massive, capacity building projects. It usually takes about 2 years to complete. And this, we did have where communities could only come in on their own, and then we went to only regional, and now we're like, okay, for the smaller communities, regional thinking works better, because it's more competitive. And then we had the larger communities who maybe couldn't find partners to go in with them. So now we've said, whichever, you can come in regionally, you can come in on your own, but that might be something to look into as well, especially if you have smaller communities like Napanee or something that might be willing to go in with you, which is something to start thinking about. So those are really neat projects. And you can go on our website and they'll have Stellar, and you can look at some of the past awardees and projects that they've done.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Moving on. We have JPR with the UV proposal for the lagoon system. That will be for treatment.
We did receive an updated email from Trojan, yes, well, it's from JPR, but it's regarding the Trojan UV system, and it's $105,592. Yeah, I think Katie sent that email to all of you. Did she, that updated email? I can pull it up if you need me to. So you can see.
Is that, because this one's written 105, 520. Is it 592 or 520, I guess?
Hang on.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't have an email.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll show you this, and he sent updated, documents for the actual, Daniel Line, I'm sorry. And here's his email. And then if I scroll down here. That's the actual email. Find the scope of supply for Wakarusa, attached is marked up generic layout showing the channel dimension, which would be the structural things that we need to focus on, which is in addition to the 105,520, okay? But that, Alex is going to drill down on that, and then he'll be requesting, an approval on down the road. But anyway, so there are dimensions, and I can forward this email to all of you. I thought Katie did, so I apologize if she didn't. But it shows the channel dimensions, drawing request for more site-specific layout has been submitted to the drafting team, et cetera. But you can see instead of 105,000 and whatever it used to be, it's already up to 105,520. That's why Alex in Public Works is saying, hey, REC is already committed to pay for this. Can he go ahead and engage that for that purchase? So approval to go ahead and order said equipment is what he's looking for.
Okay.
So we're looking at that as 105,520.
Right, and then you'll notice up here as well, right above it, I don't know if you can see that very well, I apologize. But right above it, it says we've included a modular lifting sling. We have not included a davit crane, as sometimes the plant has a crane that they will want to supply and purchase. Well, this is gonna be out at the lagoons, it's not gonna be a grass plant or anything like that. So if they would like a davit crane, the adder or the additional funds for that would be $4,067. And what that does is it positions, it's positioned right next to the channel, so that when those UV bulbs need to be cleaned or replaced, more importantly, they're in a rack. And it's a significantly large rack, which makes it very awkward to try to carry it upstairs. And it weighs between 70 and 80 or 90 pounds. But one man could go out and literally hook onto the rack using that davit crane, pull it out, and do whatever maintenance on that rack, and then lower it back in without straining, so getting injured. So that is an additional thing, and I'll send this to y'all in an email.
Well, that, yeah, you just approve that anyway, so.
Yeah, I think it would be a no-brainer given the potential for
Right.
possible injury or damage of, I don't know what it would cost to drop one of those racks, my guess is it wouldn't be cheap.
It's cheap. Especially.
But that's the extent of what they're asking for approval on to go ahead and designate or utilize some of that designated RDC money for this purchase.
I make a motion that we use that RDC money for a Trojan UV 300,000 or 3,000 plus in the amount of 105,520, and then add the data crane at the amount of $4,067 to total 109,587.
And I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote.
The lagoons, thank you.
Okay, Katie is next on the agenda. I don't think she has anything specific,
No,
does she?
I don't believe so.
Okay,
You know, it's the.
Yep.
Treatment, or payouts, correct?
yes, we'll move on to DLZ. So we have the water treatment plant pay app number 19 to DLZ in the amount of $99,789. This covers professional services through 3/27/26. Start date on this. So,
I'll make a motion, we accept the pay app number 19 for DLZ for $99,789.
And I'll second that.
okay, got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. Okay. Now we have the pay app to R. Yoder, pay app number 17, in the amount of $349,974.58. This is installation, some stuff. Read all the way through it, but there's quite a few things they've got accomplished. Pretty much
Getting
close to being
into it.
done, yeah. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, they're closing in.
I make a motion that we approve pay app number 17 to DLZ in the amount of $349,974.58.
yes.
Yeah, for our Yoder, sorry.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous vote. Alright. Public Works doesn't have anything else, right? We had the UV. I think that's it for
I
now.
believe that is it, other than his notes, which you guys have.
Yep. Tim, do you have anything? All right. Rob?
As previously discussed, what is first? The roof repair. Millwood, we talked about some of these details last night. Again, reiterating, the fact that my interaction, especially with the guy who came out and inspected our building, was by far and away the most comprehensive evaluation of what we need, and highly qualified, but also he's the only one that came with the ability to do both the construction work and the roof repair. So I'm not having to deal with two other contractors and me trying to play general. I've done that before, and it's led to some significant nightmares. It might be partly why I'm involved. So I'm going to recommend that we go with Millwood Roofing Construction, so I'm looking for approval for them to go ahead and begin this. The dollar amount for everything that you see on the scope of work, and everything, including the 20-year warranty, is $142,147. And so I'm asking for approval to move forward with this. And literally, if we do, I'll reach out to him tomorrow. Otherwise, he might not get to it for quite some time. So he's kind of going against it. Anyway, any questions on that?
And last time we questioned Katie on where those funds would come from, she said they come from the capital outlays and then the general fund.
Yep.
I make a motion that we move forward with Millwood Roofing and Construction to repair the roof and do the construction necessary here at the town hall in the amount of $142,147.
I second that.
I got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous vote.
Let me first of all say.
Yes,
Okay, sorry.
I'm just signing.
The pickleball, regarding pickleball report, this group of people has been probably one of the most enjoyable facets of my job, at least recently. It's so cool to see members of our community come in. We have is it our third or fourth? I think it's our fourth pickleball meeting tomorrow evening here in Town Hall. And so just, it's nothing but a further planning meeting. It's drilling down on more questions and just listening to community involvement. And it's really interesting to see them all get involved. It's kind of like arts and crafts the last time we all met. We had little cutouts and they were, creating these ideas and the design, the layout out at the park. To that end, regarding drainage out there, Leighton
Martin.
Owen Martin's son. Owen has been a tile man forever around the Waukerusa area. Well, he retired, sold his business to his son Leighton. So Leighton is now doing that work. And he came out and gave a very comprehensive evaluation of what needs to happen at the park, where we're designating the pickleball courts to go. And it will, and I asked him, I said, I need to know in certain terms, is this going to fix the problem? He said, this will fix the problem. And then Carl and I chatted with him. There were a group of guys out there looking at it. So I feel very, very confident that he can do it. He can do it for markedly under budget. We estimated it would cost about $150,000. We believe he'll come in under 50 to get the whole thing with all the repair that we're done as well. So, good guy. I think he's probably forgotten more about tiling than I will ever know. But so that is we're in the process of trying to move forward with that, and we're going to have further discussion on the whole VOT presentation from JBK. I had another individual in the office today that kind of does the same thing, so I think it would behoove us to look at that company as well.
Right.
But in drilling down on the whole build on rate transfer, is that correct? The on rate transfer, I think it's got some definite merit, but I think we need to spend some time really knowing what we're getting ourselves into if we even decide to go that route. Just a different, delivery method. Regarding the Coal Garden report, so we were assisted by Mother Nature with the destruction of the sign, the Coal Garden sign. So we were like, hey, I think we need a new sign. The next day we go out there and it's literally raining up against the tree. So Mother Nature helped in that regard. That is currently out in ashes out by the bird pond. And they are going to start with the construction of the new sign as soon as Schwartz comes in and moves or relocates that panel, because that panel is right in the middle of everything out there. But prior to that, we need to, the town, our guys, our public work guys, and I think Alex wants to be here for that, so he's coming back next week. Are gonna dig that root ball out. And my guess is that root ball is gonna be sizable. It's gonna leave this massive crater, but our guys are equipped to take care of that. We've got the equipment to do that. But we're probably gonna need the back truck there to locate the existing line. And I've got a question for you. So that, you know where that panel is over by the quilt garden. How deep do you think that feed line is to that? Is that probably 30 inches?
Probably
Okay.
between 30 and 36.
Okay, and it comes literally just kind of like on a perpendicular line, straight off the quilt garden, the back of the quilt garden, right to that panel. Is there a significant chance that that root ball could have developed that conduit? And I'm hoping it's rigid conduit.
I doubt it.
Okay,
I mean, I don't know how close it was to that root ball, but
well, I don't know how long that's been there with that tree growing and that root ball getting bigger. I don't know how maple trees act. I have no idea, but the thing was completely hollow. It's a wonder it didn't get actually blown over in our storms. I feel bad for Zach. He wanted the stones because he didn't know some more on it. But anyway, so that we want to locate that with our back truck before we start digging around there. So anyway, it's been marked, and then we're still dealing with NIPSCO regarding the lockout and all the things that we need to make happen in order to get that moved. But that's our next process. That's the next step. And then we'll work on drainage to make sure that the water is falling the way we want it to. We'll chase it the way we want it to. We're going to chase some of the water from that area out to the street. And I'm talking just surface water. And then we'll chase other water towards the alley on the east side. Yeah, then sometime beginning next week, we'll actually see some construction taking place there. I know I'm going to continue getting pushback on the parking issue, so, just remember me. Because some of these people, pet owners can be angry. So I'm gonna have to deal with all of that. And there's plenty of opportunity for them to park in the 1, 2, 3, so it's sizable enough for them times 10. So anyway, but that's going to be a battle. Any questions on that? We're hoping that is done, literally done by June 27th. I don't know if the conversation was with Carl or it was with Troy. I think that might be ambitious, just knowing that there could be weather considerations. There's a number of things that could slow things down and slow it down significantly. But we'd like it to be done by the June 27th celebration parade. I already talked about last night, where we're going to highlight the kids. We've already talked to Evers about, being in the car, the cruise in, put classic cars in the parade. And we're going to represent all of our services, fire, ambulance, public works, police. And so we want that to be a massive, we've already got 4 food trucks that have said, we want to come, this is going to be a great event, we want to be there, please allow us. They've all agreed to waive their fee or their minimum since a new event. So we're going to have, I don't remember who all, but that's in my notes, but I can make it more readily. But 4 trucks and then a dessert truck, Donut Envy. They do 8 different kinds of tiny donuts, so planning on being there for that. But that's going to be fun. Biggest farmers market we've ever done. Then we want to end the day. We'll start the day with bagpipes springing in the color guard. They'll set the flags. And then there's going to be activities all day long. Then we want to end it with the kind of concert you and I like going to. So it's going to be some kind of an Americana band, probably out of Chicago. It's a band called Hartsfield. And they sound a lot like Crosby, Stills and Nash, the Eagles. So it'll be that very cool, vibe. Hoping and praying for good weather. We want hot dogs served. We want apple pie, ice cream, all those things. That's it. We're hoping that's done. the report card is done for that, so. Trent Dean's also gonna be DJing.
What's a better way to celebrate that when we have Wakarusa with the last three letters, USA?
So the new banners, you're gonna, I hope you like the new banners. And, but we had a company approach us about, hey, we got a great idea. And it's 250th Wakarusa. I don't know if they're gonna emphasize the USA.
So, we talked about this, and I didn't think about it until just now, but before, having some flags up there representing our armed forces.
Legion is the color guard, they're gonna be the ones marching in front of the parade.
Okay.
Given the average age, they're not sure they wanna walk the entire parade route, so they might kind of jump out in front as they enter the downtown.
Okay.
We're gonna have a Jim Brubaker. Have any of you ever heard of Jim Brubaker? I know Tim, you and I have talked about Jim Brubaker. He's a pretty dynamic speaker. He'll come and kind of introduce the day.
Bontrager.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bontrager introduced the day with a 15 to 20-minute speech and presentation on America, what it means to be American, in his view. He's a vet, great guy from what I understand. Then there's going to be local artists who sing some patriotic tunes. We want to feature as many school kids and their musical groups as much as we can. They're all off for school. Teachers are already giving us pushback. We'll be lucky to get anybody to show up, but we're going to try. But we want to feature as much of what makes Wakarusa Wakarusa as we do this event. I'm hoping it becomes so successful that, or at least good enough that we try to keep it going. So, any questions on that?
No.
That's it. That's all of that.
Annette, do you have anything?
The NIPSR Festival,
Oh, wow.
quickly. Next, a week from this weekend.
Yes.
It'll be busy around here.
Well, and probably 11, 12,000 people in town, probably.
No, I think he estimated more than that, I think it's closer to 20. So,
It's usually the first festival and everybody comes to,
If it's good weather.
yeah, we pray for some.
so if you want pancakes and sausage.
That's gonna be the dogs, right?
6:30 to noon, yes.
That's gonna be a fire station.
It'll be a dogs.
Docks, okay.
Get a little shortcut right over
Yeah.
there. Think we'll be able to go. Phil, you got anything?
But I don't have anything.
All right.
I make a motion that we pay the claims and adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
I got a motion and a second to pay the claims and adjourn the meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And unanimous vote. Next meeting is May 5th, work session. May 5th.
Thank you.
Maybe this will be for maybe for that too. That's gonna strike.
I can't read it.
Patent file for a grant, is that what you in the process of doing?
No, I was filing for, life pack, did the failures.
So, is that something we can do?
Or is it more like,
We do have grants that are public facilities for fire stations.
Okay.
However, I think anything that is community-wide LMI based, which would be a fire station, library, community center, I don't know if is eligible.
No, I'm.
Your LMI, yes.
Yeah, you're right. So, well, years ago, when Main Street. I never started that process. And
Yeah.
because of our LMI, we ran into lots of things. I think it might have been, maybe it's changed.
Yes, it's changed.
When
It
it's
used
not-
to be at the Main Streets. It was.
I need an assistant, or at least on council nights. And
Yeah.